Okay, now story in Perfect Dark is, I have to admit, pretty strange. Now, I haven't played the story that much since the N64 version, so I'm going to try to read it off to you. Perfect Dark, who is an agent, her name is really Joanna Dark, codename Perfect Dark, okay, like James Bond 007, original. Anyway, yeah, you always have to have a code name if you're an agent, of course. Anyway, so she works for a agency called the Carrington Institute, who is rivals with this other company called the Datadyne, who are bad guys pretty much. And the bad guys are actually, or Datadyne, is actually affiliated with bad alien, whatever, called the Skeeter, who are the reptile-like extraterrestrials who can disguise themselves as humans. Yes, you follow me? Okay, and we are actually we're kind of like buddies with the other kind of extraterrestrial, stereotypical grays alien. They're called the Mayans. They're gray aliens with big heads. Stereotypical. And we're pretty much kind of like partnered with them. So it's like, the good guys versus the bad guys, pretty much. The good aliens and the good humans versus the bad humans and the bad aliens. Pretty simple. And Joanna Dark, you are Joanna Dark, and you're just mixing this whole thing. And yeah, the story overall is pretty weird. I'm terrible at explaining stories, so I'm just gonna say overall it's pretty good. So let's go. It's pretty good for a weird way, in a weird way. Anyway, let's go on to sound. Now the sound, I have to admit, is pretty good only because it makes you feel nostalgic. And when I mean that, I mean because it's pretty much the same sound as in the N64 version. There might be a couple new sound effects or like voiceovers I didn't realize, but there is a lot of voiceovers in this. Usually in N64 games there is voiceovers, but not much. In this one there is, and I remember even back then there was voiceovers. So yeah, cool sounds overall. Definitely, you'll feel nostalgic, definitely. Okay, now the graphics in the game, I really shouldn't be scoring this, but it's an N64 game, so it's just up res, so it looks a little bit nicer. Some of the textures look pretty good, but overall it's an N64 game, so it doesn't look as good as something like Modern Warfare or Uncharted, obviously. But to be honest, the graphics don't really mean much in this game. The only thing that you really want is to be able to tell what the hell you're looking at, okay? If the graphics are so muddy and bad that you can't even tell if you're looking at a box or a freaking tree, then you have a problem. This game doesn't have that problem, so don't worry about it. Doesn't matter. You're in usually big offices or something where it's only boxes, no trees, obviously. So you're not gonna have that confusion. I don't know why I just compared a box to a tree anyway, but anyway, yeah. Let's go on to gameplay, which, yep, is the best part of this game. Let me just tell you that. Okay, now the gameplay in Perfect Dark is pretty much exactly the same gameplay as in the N64 version. So you're probably going, okay, so it's bad, right? Because it's an N64 game, a 97, 98 game. They pretty much just slapped it on 360, right? It should be bad, right? Fuck no. No. The gameplay is so much fun in this game, okay? The controls are much better now because the N64 controller, I have to admit, was probably the worst thing about the N64. The controls are much, much better in this game. The graphics, like I said before, they don't hurt it, I'll definitely tell you that. It's a fun gameplay experience. I mean, they put Xbox Live in here so you can play with up to 8 people, 4-on-4 teams, 2-on-2 teams, or just a whole bunch of freaking deathmatch. I mean, not many actual match types, but they do have a lot of weapons. There's like 32 weapons. In the original, I think there was like 25 or something like that, and they added a few more in here, which is really cool. Overall, I think the gameplay is just the best part of Perfect Dark. It's so much fun. The shooting's very fun. You can try to aim for the head. It's strategical for a freaking N64 game. If you aim for the head, it'll do more damage, obviously. If you aim for the body, it ain't gonna do as much damage. So, yeah, it's definitely cool to have that in an N64 game, which was very, primitive, obviously. Very primitive compared to a 360 or a PS3 or a Wii, even a Wii. Wii sometimes has N64 graphics, but sometimes they do have fantastic graphics like fucking Super Mario or something. Anyway, overall, I love Perfect Dark. Still love it since the beginning of my time, like I said before, and I just love it altogether. I love it. Perfect Dark. Definitely go get it. Perfect Dark Arcade. I'm still going to give it a great score, even though the graphics are obviously very dated. And the gameplay is still a lot of fun, but it's not going to make you go away from your Call of Duty or your Bad Company like me. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching the review. It's a pretty short one this time, so overall, look in the description for the full review, like all scores for every section. Yep, that's it. Thank you and bye.